currently present, just giving a little bit of background information on this presentation. A couple of times a year, I try to give a panel like this. Thank you for joining, Jaiyu. Um, a couple of times a year, I try to create presentations like this where I invite either current students of our LLM program or alumni from our LLM program to share their experience and some stories about their experience. Of course, today will be on current students who will be joining us, and I will leave most of the time available for our panelists to share their experience with you, and hopefully you will learn some valuable lessons from it. So just a short introduction about this panel. It's an opportunity for you to learn, of course, from the experience from our outstanding LLM students, but also an opportunity for you to ask questions and get them answered by our panelists who are so kind to give some of their time today to share their experience. So we're joined today by Ehsan and Jaiyu, and if Sigmund will be joining us too, there he will also participate. But for most of the presentation, I will leave the word to them. Just a quick introduction of myself. I'm the moderator of today. I am Melvin Dubois, Associate Director for International Outreach here at UC Davis School of Law. I give other presentations among these to give some more background information about the LLM program for prospective students like you around the world. So without too much further ado, it's 12:02. That means that there's 2 minutes less time for our speakers to talk. They only have an hour time, and hopefully there will be enough to answer all the questions and share their experience. But I would like, of course, ladies first, to ask Jaiyu and then Ehsan to briefly introduce yourself and also why you chose this LLM program here at UC Davis. You are still muted, Jaiyu.
Hello everybody. My name is Jaiyu Liu and I'm from China. So I chose UC Davis is because of its coordination with my school in China, which is the Wuhan University. So I get to know the Davis is a very good school and it welcome like international students, and also it is close to Sacramento in California, so its public interest is very good. So that's one of the reasons I chose it.
Thank you, Jaiyu, very much. Indeed, we do have a long history of all Chinese students coming here to this university, and Jaiyu is one of the followers of this Chinese movement coming here to our university. Ehsan?
Well, good afternoon, everybody, or maybe good evening. I don't know, depending on where you are in the world right
Yes,
now.
we are international. That's
International,
true.
yes. My name is Ehsan Salerian. I'm so happy to be here today with you to share my own experience. Going back to your first question, Melvin, regarding why UC Davis, actually, I can bring up a few points in my opinion that personally made me uh, uh, to make such decision to go to UC Davis. I just briefly mention one is locality. The locality, by that I mean the location of UC Davis Law School to be in between Sacramento, which is the capital of California, the policy center of California, if you will, as well as being close to the Bay Area, San Francisco. So just the location, in my opinion, is a prime location to study law because you get the opportunity to work in Sacramento area or the Bay Area. In my opinion, that's a big plus. Secondly, I would mention the vigorous faculty members that we have. Like truly, the classes are so interesting. They're so good, really add to the literacy for those who are pursuing the legal knowledge. And the same supportive faculty, always office hours are available, or if you need help with the international program in general, Professor Mori, Dean Greenwood, And as well as I would say the great networking opportunity that I had to meet a lot of new uh, basically students and also legal scholars and legal professionals during the past semester and this semester. So those 4 or 5 factors that I mentioned basically made me to make such decision to pursue the LLM at UC Davis.
Thank you, Ehsan,
Sure.
for sharing this. Of course, you were one of the students who dropped by
Yes.
as to see the law school, just coming by and seeing on a day-to-day basis without announcement necessarily coming by and seeing how the law school functions, which is also something that we encourage is people coming by and seeing on a day-to-day basis how things work. Of course, you were in the area which makes it easier to locate different law schools. But thank you so much for sharing these insights, and I look forward hearing more of your answers throughout this panel. Now I'll go
Of course.
back to the questions that I prepared to you today, and going back to Jayu, I want to see if you can answer if you have any professional goals or personal goals when you started this program or for this program.
Okay, I would say like the first reason for that is like my English skill.
Hmm.
I want to improve my English and have an environment for me to speak English in a full of the English native speakers. And secondly, I also wanted to I wanted exposure to US legal reasoning and classroom dynamics. I think there are a lot of discussion and like interactions between the classmates and the teachers. So that is what I'm hoping to experience. And personally, I also want to build an international network and gain confidence working across legal systems and cultures. I want to get like intercultural social skills because
Hmm.
I want to go do something that is more international to experience more cultural. Also like for my personal goals, I'm considering like to take a PhD like in Europe or in like some English speaking countries. So I think US experience and US legal system would offer a great angles for me to think about more different questions that is not only from my perspective in China. So I think that is what I'm looking for.
Great insight, and great to have such a open international broad view over the world. You're going many different places. I can see, Jayu, and I wish you all the best of luck. But of course, first focus here on the LLM program at UC Davis. Ehsan, how was it for you? You of course made a very thoughtful decision of coming here to UC Davis. What was the professional or personal goals that you had set for yourself?
Thank you. Yes, actually, I spent a great deal of time to make the decision to pursue the LLM degree. And, this is the second LLM degree I'm doing, and that was with a purpose. And the purpose was basically to get to know and to learn about the US legal system, which in my previous LLM, I focused only on environmental law.
Hmm.
However, this time, my professional goal is to pass the bar exam
Hmm.
reason that I decided to do the second LLM. And this time I'm only focusing on US legal subjects.
Hmm.
I'm not doing anything like niche or elective as much as possible. Also, aligned with the same, I would say that networking was another uh, basically reasoning for me to pursue the LLM degree. And I would say that at Davis Law, I have been able to get close to my goals. I feel a lot more confident with regards to the bar exam because I understand that someday I might try to do it like self-study. However, I would say that the details and the depth of knowledge that you learn in the classroom, it's something that you cannot probably find in those commercialized bar prep. Like the commercialized bar prep, they work the best if you know those little detail interexes of the complexity of the law. And
Hmm.
that usually happens during the classroom with that
Yeah.
interaction with the professor. And in terms of the personal goal, any challenge is good, So in terms of the personal goals, I was ready to challenge myself again. And this challenge, actually, it's a very good one, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you both for sharing that insight and great to learn from you. You of course touched on the subject of the bar exam, which is going to be a topic after, but it's great to have your insight that that a lot of people might think that it's enough to take uh, a commercial bar preparation course, but that you might miss the important fine details that you would not receive otherwise. Um, I see that we have some questions. What I would like to propose is that we use the chat box, and then towards the end of the presentation, I would definitely leave enough time to answer any questions. So if you have any questions, please use the chat box, and we will revisit those questions towards the end of the presentation. Now, my next question, when I listened to Ehsan, is kind of invalid because you mentioned that you focus as much as possible on general classes, right? So I'm going to defer back to Jaiyu if you have any particular classes that you are taking, any concentrations or any focus that you have chosen during this LLM program.
So I focus on like the privacy law,
Hmm.
like technology law and privacy law and IP. I think like it is an advantage in UC Davis because California has a very advanced and developed study of the scholars about the privacy and technology law. And I also think it's a great place for you to study public interest because academic interest is in uh, data protection, like
Hmm.
in supervision. So it is also about the governmental work. So I think like this location close to Sacramento also has its advantage in that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, your interest in the LLM program. I see that Sigmund has been able to connect. Thank you, Sigmund, for joining. I appreciate you joining in. We are already a few questions in, but I would like to circle back to you and check with you, of course, hoping that you can introduce yourself briefly to the public today and kind of explain in a nutshell why you chose UC Davis LLM program, as well as your personal and professional goals for this program.
Yeah, my name is Sig. Thank you, Melvin.
Yes, thank you
Really,
very much.
I'm late. I was having technical difficulties.
That's okay.
But my name is Sigmund Rujimbi. I originally am from Uganda, and the main reason I'm doing the LLM at UC Davis is two reasons: is to uh, do the California bar exam and get to practice in California,
Mhm.
and also acquire my concentration, which is in immigration law and procedure, and also criminal law. These are two branches of law that I really feel passionate about.
Mhm.
And those particular concentrations and also the option to sit the California bar is why I'm doing the LLM at UC Davis.
Great, thank you. That answers a few questions at the same time. Which concentration you are focusing on? Like Ehsan was saying, he was focusing on the general view of the US legal system. And Jai, you just explained as you were tuning in on her concentration specialist. So thank you for sharing that insight on why you chose UC Davis to join the UC Davis LLM program. Now, for all purposes, I want to kind of get an insight with what you all three, and maybe starting again with Jaiyu, what your insight was on the experience in class, which I understand is very different from country to country. So how did you experience that, Jaiyu, the difference or any comparative experience that you have with the classroom?
And I would say like in the US, the classes are various, like the styles are various and largely depends on the professor themselves. So some classes like the family law I'm studying right now, it is highly doctrinal based and it is also about like the policy analyzed and also like the IP classes that I took last semester. It's it's a lot of it included a lot of news like the AI, like the technology development and something like that. And some classes like constitutional law, it's all about the cases and like the history of the American and the uh teacher really want to discuss it with all kinds of children. We enjoy diversity discussion, and also I think profession they apply doctrine to new fact patterns and develop independent arguments. Um, it took some adjustments, but ultimately it strengthened my analytical skills. Like to how can I see these cases? How can I see this news that is just happening? Yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. So definitely a switch in your experience and adjustment period, but you feel like you've improved and saw some analytical improvement in the way classes are taught. Thank you. Ehsan, how about you?
Well, regarding classes, I would say that the main difference in US legal classes and law schools in here is basically the method of teaching. And the method of teaching, probably you heard of it. I mean, our audience called Socratic method, which demands more participation from the students. And at the same time, you should expect to be cold called. You know, the professor might call on you. However, as Jaiyu explained very in good details, it also depends on the syllabus and the goals that the professor has for the class. So in that sense, some classes they could, look a little bit different from the others depending on the content and the professor preferences. However, the general method is Socratic method that you should expect in a general law school in the US. In terms of participation, I would say that is not as scary as it might sound. You know, if you are reasonably prepared for the class, you should be fine, even in terms of cold calls. And those cold calls are just a way to engage you in the class, is not a way to embarrass you. That's a, I
Hmm.
think, important distinction too. So it's always good to participate, and it's a good learning opportunity by participating in the Socratic method to develop a more profound legal mindset, in my opinion.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Sigmund, did you have any other input or any additional information that you would like to share about your experience?
Yeah, just a little bit of quick, easy comment. But before that, on my colleague's submission. But just before I get to that, is the other thing that I really appreciate about the method of instruction at UC Davis is that most of my classes, they have that practical element to it. For example, I'll talk about my immigration law, the immigration clinics, that there's a really reputable immigration clinic, well-respected immigration clinic, for example, that takes on real cases and helps with immigration issues. And so to transition into that after doing that concentration, in immigration law, it gives you a hands-on. Same with business associations. Recently, my professor, Professor Miazad, was launching a business center here at UC Davis. And I mean, very many people from, different experts, different practitioners in that field gathered, and the access that I had there was amazing. The connections built, networks started. And so I find that it's not just only about the class setting, but it's about, uh, fostering those platforms where you're able to get a taste of what the practical nature is of what you're
Hmm.
studying. And also that my professors have uh, really approachable people. By my background in Uganda, a person like a professor is not easy to approach, but I mean, they here it's like a dialogue sort of instruction, but also that Socratic method that just helps for more, knowledge retention, easy approach, extremely helpful environment with a practical aspect.
Great. Great. Thank you very much for sharing that. And that's very interesting to learn, and we'll get to that point a little bit further on about the networking opportunities, but you kind of touched on that subject already now a little bit, of sharing that it's not only really about the classes, but it's about the community and really the law school as a whole, that opens all these different doors, if you show enough interest to pursue them. So that's a very interesting insight, and maybe going into a next subject which might also be a little bit beyond the classroom is bar exams. I heard that Ehsan and both you, Sigmund, were preparing for it. Jaiyu, were you intending also to take the bar exam, or was that something that was not part of your plan here at UC Davis?
Yes, I'm going to take the New York bar.
Ah, okay, great. So all three of you, I would like to have your insight, and maybe starting with Sigmund for a change. What do you feel, and you're all three now in your second semester. How has the program so far been able to prepare you, or in taking classes, preparing you for taking the bar exam? Do you feel like you're getting there, or do you feel miles away at this point from the bar exam?
Uh, that was a nice way of putting the question, Melvin, because it gives me some sort of head start in my answer. Before starting some of these bar prep classes, uh, I felt miles away, but the insight that it provides helps you understand what you need to do to prepare, and sort of shows you, how to strategize. Those classes have been really helpful because, I mean, you join this program and you want to do the bar, but you really don't know how to strategize and study for it and test out and see what that's like. So these bar prep classes for me have been really useful, very eye-opening, I should say.
Hmm.
And when you start going to a couple of them, you feel closer and closer, you know. So I'm just so happy about it. That's what I think about the bar prep courses. Yeah.
Great, and I hope that all
That's
three of you will get close when the time is there, and continue to work towards your goals. Ehsan, did you have any personal insights? How do you feel about the courses that you've taken, and getting closer to being prepared to take the bar exam, which is of course still a bit away?
Great question. Actually, personally, I need a good orientation, and
Hmm.
by attending UC Davis Law, I feel that that orientation appeared in my life because that gave me like a sort of discipline, and by going to classes to creating that momentum. So that was something that was really helpful for me because I had the idea of taking the bar for years. I just never found a good orientation nor discipline, to be
Hmm.
honest. So now I have that orientation, I have that discipline. In terms of how I feel about like the bar exam in general, I just want to kind of simplify that my answer in a way. In my opinion, it has two aspects to it. The first aspect is to be able to master the content, the
Hmm.
legal content that you have to prepare for the purpose of the bar exam. And attending these classes are great at law school because not only you create that foundation, that legal foundation that you need to have in order to pass the bar, because the bar exams are not necessarily the most straightforward questions. You should be able to make that distinction. And I think that level of detail orientation comes actually from classes. Plus, professors, they share with us that, yeah, this is a subject mostly tested or more frequently tested on the bar exam, or this is a subject that you should worry less about, but you should still know. So, I mean, like also to have that kind of guidance, it helps a lot.
Mhm.
Uh, Personally, I think at the end of the day, it comes to the fact that if one would be able to put all this together, which in my case,
Mhm.
I feel confident, or at least a lot more comfortable compared to the past, that I can make a overall conclusion of all this content and reflect it during the bar exam and hopefully to pass. So, in my opinion, it has that two aspects of mastering the content and being able to reflect that knowledge during the bar exam.
Mhm.
So, in terms of classes, I think they're very good to lay that foundation of literacy, detail orientation, and knowing that what actually matters to
Mhm.
pass the bar exam, because a lot of times there's a lot of noise in terms of like the legal content. And sometimes in these classes I feel that, yeah, this is a part that you can actually cut through the noise and go to what actually matters, and that's going to help you to pass the bar also,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thanks for that. Thanks for that insight. Jaiyu, did you have any other insights? I know that a lot of people might confuse uh, going to school in California with necessarily taking the bar in California. We have an example here that you're preparing for the New York bar, which is of course possible. For anyone that is here that is a little confused with that, the law school here at UC Davis prepares anyone to take the New York bar, but also a lot of other very popular bars, which are, for example, the New York bar or the Texas bar or the Washington, D.C. bar. How do you feel, Jayu, about your bar courses and the bar preparation that you are receiving so far?
So first thing I would say is about to thank you to the faculty in UC Davis Law, because I think like New York bar is one of the most complicated bar. Its requirements, its rules, it's so complicated. And it's not only about like the courses you're choosing, and it's about like your qualification and some other additional requirements, and also about the timeline. So I think the faculty in UC Davis Law really helps me a lot. Like Professor Mori, he always check one by one, like my credits, my units about for the New York bar, and uh, f- for why I choose New York bar, I would say if you are an international student like me, I'm planning to go back to China after graduation. I'm not going to stay in the US. So I think the US bar is just US bar. It makes no difference to get California bar or New York bar if you are going back to your mother country. So since New York bar is the pass rate is higher than California bar, and especially New York bar has like more recognition because maybe more people take New York bar in China. So maybe like the lawyers know New York bar better. So probably I would just choose the more famous one and more easy one for me to pass it. Yeah.
Okay, so for you, it's more a standing item to be able to show when you go back to China that you have the recognition to be to have the New York bar and advance in your career with that recognition.
Yeah.
Thank you for that insight. Very, very interesting to have all your input about the bar exam and how it's preparing you so far. Sigmund touched on this subject a little earlier, so I'm going to leave your comment as last since you touched on it earlier. But I would like to have all your input and maybe starting with Ehsan about how you have found a legal community and networking opportunities if you have made some in Davis and the surrounding areas and how easy did you find it to connect with legal professionals and other organizations in this area?
Well, I would say that there are a lot of opportunities if one is willing to go get out of their comfort zone and start networking. For instance, I give you a few examples. For instance, we have panels and presentation in law school, and those are experts from other universities, from the DA office, from other legal authorities that they come to law school and they make presentation. Sometimes they come with their teams or their assistants, so there's usually a good chance of opportunity to basically network with them. Also, of course, Davis Law is very well recognized in the region, at least in the NorCal area. Everybody
Hmm.
knows about it. So it's easy to make that connection. Once they know you're from like Davis Law, they're willing to talk to you. It has a very good reputation in that sense. Also, there are other opportunities. For instance, as my colleague Sigmund mentioned, we recently had a new business law center that was initiated at Davis Law at the King Hall, and a lot of experts, a lot of lawyers, judges, they show up for these kind of events, and that gives you a great deal of opportunity to network in the sidelines. So I remember in the beginning of the last semester, we had the networking opportunity at Judge Misawala's house at UC Davis. She's also an instructing professor at Davis Law. That was a wonderful opportunity that happens every year. And the judges, legal experts, legal scholars, LLM students, JD students, is a very big event, a great opportunity for networking. So I would say that if one is up for networking and they have that as a goal, it's not too difficult to achieve that goal by going to UC Davis Law because you get all these different kind of networking opportunity in different spectrums that you might be looking for and different
Great.
subjects.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Jayu, how was your insight? How did you live that legal community and networking opportunity in the Davis area?
Uh, so I want to say that because LM student group is a very small or relatively small group, so everybody has a relatively more close connection, and it's easy to build relationship with professors, your classmates, visiting speakers, and other local lawyers. As my two colleagues has mentioned, that the noon's activities is a very, very
Hmm.
good chance for you to
Yeah.
connect with them. You can just ask them questions and show your passion about this field, and they will also share some information with you, maybe exchange their name card with you. So I
Yes.
think it's a good chance. And the second one is like the LM program, they would have like some coordination with other programs like UCLA. And I have known that some classmates have gained the jobs through the UCLA's LM uh, uh, the program activities. So
Hmm.
it is the second one, and the third one I would say is about like the faculty in the UC Davis Law. They will provide you some interview skills and a mock interview, and they will just give you the reform of your resume, your CV. So also it's help a lot for your um seeking when you are seeking for job. And
Yes.
furthermore, um actually, it's my first time to be told for the networking skills,
Hmm.
like in US. So in China, nobody just told me how can I get connected with others, like the
Yeah.
alumni. But here we know that how can we get in touch with alumni and how can we say hi to everybody like strangers in a meeting or in any party. So I think it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's two very important parts in what you just told is that the UC Davis School of Law is really like a boutique law school. You don't feel lost in the numbers. You're really part of like a cohesive togetherness. Everyone knows each other. Everyone in the group is very approachable, and you don't feel like you're in such a big group that you can't connect with anyone. And then the second part is that you mentioned that there are so many opportunities to to connect with different people, and also the networking part, which is not very often in other countries that you are taught about this, but here in the United States it is very important. So the earlier you understand this, the more you can take advantage of this. Some students that I've talked to in the past, it took them the first semester or maybe a little bit after the first semester to understand the importance of doing this, and not really getting the importance of attending these meetings, and maybe losing the opportunity to joining a few in the first semester. So thank you for raising those points and to sharing that with everyone. And then Sigmund, I know that you had a very clear answer to that in one of the earlier questions. So how did you feel the networking opportunities are for you here in Davis, if they're any different of the colleagues?
Yeah, the networking opportunities here are ripe and more accessible. I was fortunate to know what I really wanted out of this program, and networking and expanding my horizons as far as networking is concerned was definitely a factor. The awesome platforms that my colleague Ehsan mentioned have been, I think, the cornerstone of my networking. Going to those events and just meeting people and introducing yourself. I have
Hmm.
met two of my mentors in UC Davis, and on top of that, there's like a full uh, the committed career resources that Jaiyu was talking about that will help you with aligning your experience into like a resume format that is respected here in the US.
Hmm.
Now, definitely, all those things combined have not left me the same person. I have much more professional friends, and with that comes, of course, a lot of options when you're considering what you want to do with your degree after. And
Hmm.
so it has been a place for me that has provided these networking opportunities that are easy to utilize, because all you have to do is attend and introduce yourself, and
Hmm.
and all the people that have met practitioners and working in government, solo practitioners, are always keen to help students.
Hmm.
They want to know you, they want to help out, and they want you to contact them. So it's
Yes.
for me, it has been a easy experience because the environment just allows for it to be so.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that very good, concise insight on your experience here with the legal community. I want to maybe continue with you, Sigmund, and kind of get an understanding how important it was for you to meet with Professor Greenwood, Dean Greenwood, or Professor Maury in getting your program set up, because everyone comes here with either very specific goals or not very specific goals, some ambitions, but that has to all be translated into a program. How was that for you, Sigmund, that experience of having to sit down with Professor Maury, who is the director of the LLM program, and Associate Dean Greenwood, who is, of course, Associate Dean of Global Legal Education?
Yeah, extremely important. And it continues to be important throughout the program, because although I knew what I wanted in my head at the beginning, it was very scattered. And so meeting with Professor Greenwood and Professor Maury helped to narrow it down and focus me,
Hmm.
and helped me identify those courses that would align with my interests, say
Hmm.
maybe for my concentration, or maybe my research topic, or since you're doing this course, consider doing that. So the whole advising is, you realize that after that meeting and attending those classes, that everything starts to connect
Hmm.
and it starts to make sense. And it just makes you confident in your choice and it makes you grounded. So for me, my check-ins with Professor Greenwood and Professor Mori have been about clarity,
Hmm.
confidence, and also, inspiration, because
Yes.
Professor Mori and Professor Greenwood, they are just there to cheer you on and tell you that you can and even push you. So that definitely some important courses that I wouldn't have taken that I find that are now important
Hmm.
if it hadn't been for, those advising sessions. So
Yes.
I found that interacting with Professor Greenwood and Professor Mori grounded me, gave me the confidence, and it continues to do so throughout the
Hmm.
program. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that insight. Jaiyu, how was that for you? Was it the same, or did you feel like it was a little bit different? Was it as important as Sigmund mentions?
So I would say like I have a very personal experience
Sure.
because like I'm applying for other programs in Europe and Singapore and Hong Kong. So Professor Mori, like he is the first one to know my proposal and my application. So he is also my reference for that. So I think he really helped me a lot because I know like writing a reference letter requires a lot of time. And
Mhm.
also when I just hand out my research proposal to him, it's about like 10,000 English words. I
Hmm.
think it's a very long proposal, but
Yes.
he just printed out and have the comments like line by line and
Mhm.
said this is a good argument and this one is the most important part of your proposal. And it's like I remember it's November last year, and at that time I was in a very dark period because I'm not sure what I'm going to do next step. But at that time he gave me the proposal and the comments and I nearly cried. I think it's so warm. Like actually I haven't been treated like that. Like my proposal can be taken seriously. They really want to help you. They really want to improve your writing skills and hope you can get better result of your application. So I think that it's like a very bright sparkle in my year at that time. And also I think including like other faculties like Michelle and Professor Greenwood and you Marine and other faculties, I think they all encouraged me a lot. Like they every time I felt a little bit anxious and want to make the class pass no pass. I want to adjust my schedule on classes. They always tell me like no anxious. We don't want to make you under the pressure. I just want to relax and enjoy your study
Hmm.
journey and experience in the US. And every time I heard about this, like sometimes I got anxious, but all those anxious just disappeared and I would just feel encouraged and warmed. So sometimes I think it's like my therapist, if I can say that. Yeah.
Yes, that is a very nice way, and it's kind of heartwarming to hear that story, Jayu. It's very great to hear that you have found such a comfort and guidance in faculty here in the United States and the director of the LLM program in specific. So thank you very much for sharing that very beautiful experience. Ehsan, how important has it been for you in shaping your thoughts and also kind of guiding you in your classes?
Definitely. Actually, as you mentioned earlier in this panel, I had the opportunity and to meet with Professor Greenwood, Professor Mori, and I think you
Hmm.
just shortly before the program starts. And I just have some points here that I have written down based on my own experience. First of all, I feel that Professor Mori, Greenwood, pretty much anybody that works in this international program, like global studies, they're very approachable, they're very caring. they actually want you to succeed. They want you to succeed. So if you need any resources or any help, as Jaiyu mentioned, they're willing to provide you with that. Personally, like I took advantage of the advisings, of the supportive atmosphere that has been created. And also, as you mentioned, some they might have specific goals or general goals. I can tell you that Professor Mori, Professor Greenwood, their team, they are here to help you. If you have a specific goal, which could be passing the California bar, or any other jurisdiction. And if you have general goals, maybe you want to do a PhD, maybe you want to consider taking the bar exam down the road. So even in those scenarios, they can help you and provide you with guidance. I think it's just important to start from somewhere, like for those prospective students. I hope that you realize that a law school in the US, my opinion, UC Davis Law provides you with that, with the toolbox that you need to succeed. And
Hmm.
that toolbox is at your dispense because the team that is going to guide you, Professor Mori, Professor Greenwood, the rest of the staff, they are here to provide you with that toolbox. It could be in any subject that taking the bar or mm, basically setting up your classes in any aspect, you are basically in good hands. And
Hmm.
they're truly caring people. Like my experience with Professor Greenwood or Professor Mori, they actually care. They actually care. And that's something that I think is very important to consider.
Hmm.
To be in a team and in law school, they actually care about you. I
Yeah.
felt that personally, and I think those who are going to be here after us in this program, I'm sure they're going to uh, take advantage and benefit from that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those nice words, even directed to me specifically. So that's even more heartwarming. And thank you all very much
Yes.
for sharing those very personal but touching insights about your experience so far. I know that that time is going by really fast. So maybe what I propose is that we have one final question with some comments from our panelists, and then if we have any questions that we answer them, and if we might have a couple of minutes, I have some extra questions just to end on a light note. Um, Maybe ending with Jayu. When you are looking back from the experience that you've had, right? You're almost done. We still have a few months left in the LLM program, but we're getting towards the end. You have some experience. Looking back on what you know now, your experience, what do you wish you knew before starting the LLM program that would help you now?
So I would say two words. The first one is be brave, and the second one is do more reading. So I will just explain the first one. And so to be brave, I would say like if you are an international student like me, sometimes you will be not confident about your English skill and about like your legal foundation because sometimes you take classes with JD students and local students who know American history and American logo system well, but you should be confident. Like you are thinking about you are providing them more perspective and more angles to for them to look into their legal system, not to reduce or like to interrupt their view. Like I think like in UC Davis, everybody welcome diverse discussion. Like what's going on in your country, like in your legal system, in your policy system. What's the difference? What reason caused these differences? So I think you should be brave enough to talk about yourself, your experience, and you should join the discussion, not to escape from them, not to avoid them, because it encourages diversity. And the second one I would say is to do more reading. And it is, I forgot to mention that the classes in UC Davis is great, but because of the Canvas, I think the Canvas is greatest system in the world because it provides a lot of resources about the slides and the handout and the hypos in the classes. And I think if you do a lot of reading and you combine all these resources together, then you will get a very, very deep uh, knowledge about this class and this field. I think it really helps you a lot. Something like in China, we only have like the closed book exam, so sometimes we just recite them. We just remember the textbook say. But I think do more reading can makes you open your mind to think more explosive, or diverse, or like open your mind. So I
Mhm.
think do more reading is will be much great, much helpful for you, and it also improve your English skills a lot. I think my English reading skill is much better than my last semester, and now I can just read it without any translation or dictionary. So I
Mhm.
think it's really a helpful tool.
Thank you. That's really great to hear that you have improved so much, and thank you for those wise words, if I can say, for the prospective students who might apply or who might join UC Davis LLM program. Ehsan, did you have any parting words or final words about what you wish you knew before you started the LLM program that might have helped you now?
Well, I think that in my first semester, I was less confident, and I think my confidence generally has increased substantially throughout these 2 semesters. And as Jaiyu mentioned, I feel a lot more comfortable with my classes. The subjects are not too easy, to tell the truth, but if you put a good fair amount of time of preparing for the classes, you should definitely be fine.
Hmm.
In another great point that my colleague Jaiyu brought up was about do not underestimate yourself. The legal knowledge, the legal studies that you have already obtained from your home country is just going to help you more during your law school in the US. And there's a reason for that. You have already shaped your legal mindset. And in that sense, you actually might even have the advantage comparing to JD students. So come with a good attitude, with a positive attitude that you have already the legal mindset. You're just going to learn a new aspect of, hello, Professor Mori, to learn a new aspect of the legal system. In that sense, I would say just be diligent with your studies and do not underestimate the legal mindset that you have already shaped throughout your previous legal studies in your home country.
Thank you very much, Ehsan. Yes, we
Yes,
have
sir.
a special guest who is joining the current panel. It's Professor Mori, the director of the LLM program, who is coming to say a few words to our current panelists, Sigmund, Ehsan, and Jaiyu, and also to prospective students who are here currently in the panel.
Hi, I just wanted, first of all, I'm sorry for being late. I was at a meeting about students' employment. So first of all, I want to thank our current LLM students for taking the time to share their experience. It's very important for the prospects, people who are interested in applying to an LLM program, to have opportunities to be in direct contact with other students, because they have different ways to explain things. They have their own experience they can share with you. So we really want to make sure that every person who's interested in applying to our school has the opportunity to not only connect with us, but also connect with students. The other thing I would say is I encourage you to connect with our existing students, and I also encourage you to connect with us, because sometimes the students don't know everything about the program. So they have their own experience and very precious, but sometimes it's if you have questions, you can also connect directly with Melvin, with us, with the admissions team. So, but again, I really want to thank the LM students to be here today. We just to say, they are our best publicity. Okay.
Yes.
The students, if the students are doing well, it's there's no better way to explain the quality of our program. And so I'm really glad that we're able to put together this event. And I want to say hello also to the people who are interested in applying to our program. Please reach out. Okay, that's my message to you. If you have questions, don't be shy. we are here to answer your questions, okay? We don't have the answer to everything, but our job is to make sure that once you decide for an LLM program, you know the answer to all the important questions, because you know it's a big decision. So we want to make sure that you make the decision with all the information that you need. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Mori. And if I can summarize what our current students have said so far, is only high praise for the program and for the members of the staff that are on the program. So I think we're doing good so far.
Thank you. And I mean, I want to insist on that you know, an LLM program, it's many factors. It's of course the quality of the education that you get. It's the support that you get, but it's also about things like the staff, the support that you get from people who are not teaching. And this is something we pride ourselves on. I mean, when we do student evaluations, they always say that one of the things that the most helpful at UC Davis is how much support there is outside of the classroom, like the staff, for all questions related to visas, everyday life. It's very important to have a school that not just about, you know, the time you're spending in class, which is of course essential, but also other things in which you're going to need support. Okay. So
networking, employment.
Networking, employment, visas,
yep.
Housing, things like that.
We've gone through numerous subject and topic already, so all the prospective students are aware about what we have to offer.
Anyway, again, thanks a lot to our students, and thanks to the those of you who might be our students in a few weeks or a few months.
Yes, thank you very much.
See you soon.
Thank you very much, Professor Mori, for your time. Thank you all for your insights. I do want to take a few minutes of time to let Sigmund, finish the final question, the thoughts, and then I know that it will be close to 1 o'clock. I know that you current students might have class, so I'm happy to answer and stay on for additional questions if you cannot stay any longer. So Sigmund, please give us some insights on what you wish you would know, what you wish you would know earlier that might have helped you now.
It's very much related to what my colleagues said, is, you know, to be confident and believe in yourself. For me, the first semester was a lot like my colleagues, but now after the first semester and I, you know, saw my grades and I saw what I was capable of after applying myself with all the resources I had to work with, I just became more confident. And although you're coming here to do the LLM program, there's a lot to Davis just than the law school. It's a beautiful campus, very many wonderful people. Explore the campus, use the opportunity to know other people outside your faculty. I think it is something that I would have done a lot more in the first semester, because I have met wonderful friends outside the faculty, and I'm starting to explore the university, you know, go to the gym, meet other people in another library. So, and I'm just so appreciative of that in this semester, and also to see some of my networks develop that I formed. Yeah, so I would tell myself to be more confident, to ask for help, and explore.
Great, thank you very much for all your insights and for all your wonderful stories and memories already that you have made over the last few months here at our LLM program. I do think it's time to address some questions that we might have. And I will address. I don't see very many questions, and I will address them. Most of them will be very personal questions. So if you are interested to reach out to me directly and don't want to ask your question directly in here, I'm happy to connect with you further at the email address that I just shared in the chat. I received one question: is the IELTS mandatory for the LLM admission as well as scholarship questions? So regarding the IELTS, yes, it will be a mandatory factor in your LLM admission unless you come from an English speaking country. For most of the applicants, it will be yes, but of course, it's a person-to-person, case by case. And then with regards to scholarship, every person gets assigned a personalized scholarship. The way it works is that everyone submits their application documents. Those documents are being reviewed holistically by the admission committee, and when the decision comes to either accept or deny you, if you get an acceptance, you will automatically be considered for a generous partial scholarship that is a personalized amount. So I hope that answers that question. I know that it is 1 o'clock, so for our current panelist, again, thank you very much for your time and your consideration in joining this current student panel. If you need to go on to class or have other assignments to attend, please feel free to leave the presentation. If you have time and you are willing to stay, feel free. But I'm happy to take on the questions. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Melvin.
Thank
Thank you.
you, Melvin.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
so much.
Best of luck, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will continue with a few more questions for hopefully just a few more minutes. I see that so that was the question from Majid about IELTS language score and scholarship. So I hope that that answered the question. And then Ali, you said, can you guys please? There was a partial question here. How easy is it to secure internship during the LLM program? It's very important for you to understand, Ali, that during the LLM program, first of all, it's a very intense program of about 10 months. So it would take initially a little bit of time to get used to the courses, the course load, the preparation, the effort that you need to put into the program. Afterwards, there is something that you can do as a student worker, which is called student employment. You can work, let's say, as a student worker on the campus coffee shop, or you can work on campus for a maximum of up to 20 hours per week. Okay, so this might not be securing an internship at a local law office, but you are allowed and bound by visa restrictions to work a maximum of 20 hours on campus only, 20 hours per week on campus only. So that is the answer. Hopefully, enough of an answer to your question. You're asking specifically about legal internship. Now that is a whole other question, and I'm happy to write to you directly. But that is not something that is so what I'm talking about, the most common student option is to work on campus. Once you are done with your LLM program, there is something called OPT. Once you're done with your LLM program, there exists a program called OPT, which is optional practical training, which extends basically your visa for 1 more year. During this year, you can find an internship, find an opportunity to work, and get the work experience for 1 year in the United States. Now, how easy is it to secure? Many different students will give you many different answers depending on their experience. A lot of people have put very much effort into the finding an internship, and after the LLM program, they will be able to um, find an internship. They already start during their LLM time. They take the time to network, to connect with companies, and once they complete their LLM program and activate their optional practical training year, they have a few months to land an opportunity and find a company to get an internship with. So hopefully that answers your question, Ali. Yunus, you are from Turkey. Merhaba. Nice to see you.
Merhaba.
İyi akşamlar, I think. It's good evening. Good
İyi
evening.
akşamlar.
İyi akşamlar.
Bugün
Very good to
sen,
have you here.
sen Türkçe biliyor musun?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Ben Kürdüm, Kürdiş. I am Kurdish.
Kurdish. Okay, yes.
Hmm.
I only speak very little bit of Turkish, so I don't know too much Turkish. Biraz
I
Türkçe
understand.
biliyorum. Biraz.
Biraz.
Okay, very nice to have you here. If you have particular questions, please let me know or write to me on my email address, and I'm happy to answer your questions. I see one more question from Ali. If aiming to pass the bar exam and secure U.S. employment, how feasible is it? Listen, I have to say that we do have a very large alumni group that is all working in the United States. They are people who came from many different places, from Colombia, from Poland, from China, from all different parts in the world, from India, who are currently either legal practitioners in their own, they open their own office, or they work for other companies. I'm soon going to create another alumni panel in which I will invite alumni who are currently graduated from the LLM program who will be sharing their experience. So I will share that invitation out soon so that you hopefully can learn from their experience and some more tailored questions to their experience. Now, I want to say that it is feasible. I don't know in the sense that how feasible is it. Some people will have the availability and the possibility of doing it. Some others will decide to return to their home country. It's all about a matter of determination and willingness to succeed at your goals. So I feel like it's a very personal answer. It's hard for me to say how feasible is it. I can't say 80% of people pass. Some I don't have the data. It's a very case by case dependent, and I don't know much of your background, Ali, so I won't be able to gauge that in my answer. But hopefully this gives you an insight that we absolutely have a very large pool of alumni who from all over the world are able to be successful in the United States and manage to find a job or pass the bar exam or secure U.S. employment.
I am allowed fit working.
Sorry, thank you.
I am allowed fit working.
Ah,
Level fit
okay.
working.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
and Coursera education.
Course,
Coursera.
you did Coursera education.
Coursera. Yes, Columbia, California, Arizona State, Stanford, London University education.
Ah, great. Okay. Well, great to hear that you have
Online education free.
Great that you have some online Coursera free education. If you're ever interested in joining the UC
Yeah.
Davis LLM program, we would be very happy to receive your application. What I can do to finalize this presentation is maybe share some links on where you can apply if you're interested in applying to our LLM program. There is very much one location where you can do that directly to us. I shared it in the chat. If you're interested in applying, please feel free to review the application page, and we all look forward to reading your applications and sending an answer to you very soon. All right. I appreciate everyone being here in the panel. I hope it was interesting and that you learned some new information, some interesting insights about our current students. And if you're interested in our LLM program and learning about our alumni, I look forward to inviting you soon to new panels about our LLM program and our alumni. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.
Have a good night. Bye bye.
Goodbye.